Domenic Carosa is an online entrepreneur and the founder of Dominet Digital. He's been building internet businesses for close to 2 decades, and he joins me now with some critical advice for competing in the online world. How are you, Domenic?
Great. Thanks, Peter.
Now, Dom, tell me this. A lot of small business people have a small business, then they add on the website. What mistakes do they make when they do that kind of thing without the real knowledge of creating a great website?
Yeah, one of the first things that because I get approached by a lot of companies that are looking to build sites, and I also invest in a lot of internet sites myself. And one of the first things that we do is, rather than going out there and just thinking about we need a website, is coming back down to what is the actual strategy of the company and why do we actually want a website. And just by way of example, if I'm a plumber, for example, the core objective of my website could be to generate leads. Yep. While if I'm selling a product, the core objective could be to conduct an actual e-commerce transaction and make a sale online. So it comes back down to what am I actually trying to achieve and what's the strategy. One of the second things that I always like to do after we've got our strategy right, and sometimes it works with this second point, is actually conducting a survey of our customers. And I know it sounds quite novel, asking customers what they want and how they'd like it delivered.
You're being cynical when you say it's novel to ask customers what they want, because in the real business, in the non-online business, we should be doing that all the time, shouldn't we?
We should be doing that regardless. And what I like to do, there's a little tool called surveymonkey.com.
Surveymonkey.com.
Yeah. There's a bunch of tools that you can use, and you can create a real simple 10, 20 question survey that goes out to customers. And so I like to conduct a survey every quarter, every couple of quarters, to get a feel for what customers are looking for, because we can sit around a boardroom table all day and strategize about what we think customers want. But what I always like to do is get it directly from the horse's mouth.
Is it an email that goes out, or is it actually on the page when they arrive and there's a whole series of questions and people either choose or choose not to answer them?
There's a couple of ways. You can either run a survey by emailing all your existing customers.
Yep.
I think that's the easiest thing to do. Yep. And what I like to do as part of that, if they do a survey, give them a gift voucher for $20 to encourage people to actually conduct a survey.
Yeah. Now, I've often found lots of small business people are really enthusiastic to win in business, but they stop at the most important hurdle, investing, to get someone to tell them stuff that they're not currently seeing. Do you find that's one of the big problems? A lot of small businesses aren't paying for great advice to get.
Undoubtedly. I think one of the challenges for any small business, and I guess back in the early days I was a small business and watching every single dollar, and I very much learned if you pay peanuts you get monkeys. And it only really dawned on me many years later when I actually had the capital to hire the best people and get the best advice. And I think a lot of people skimp when they actually try and do that, not only from a web perspective but in business in general.
When you think about the websites that are out there, what's the best one that you think, if a small business person watching this program wants to go and benchmark their own against one of the best in the world, what would it be?
It depends on what sector. Is it in the news or in the e-commerce
Just saying
space?
Retail. Just saying retail.
Well, I guess without wanting to beat one of my own drums, one of our sites called ourwishingworld.com is a very clean, easy to use website in the online gift registry space. And the reason I just bring that up, and you'll start seeing a lot more sites these days starting to use rich media and actually having video, whether it's Flash or a YouTube video, on their homepage. Because a lot of people these days, as products and services become a little bit more complicated, consumers want to get a quick, easy understanding of what is this business about and how can their product or service benefit me. And I'm starting to see a trend where a lot more really 60-second type videos are on the homepage, which give people a great snapshot of, and basically they do the sell on the homepage, a bit like a 30-second advert did in the olden days using.
It's instantly engaging. It's a click on, and there's not sort of waiting around for a long message. It's just there in a nutshell. It's the elevator pitch in a sense, isn't it?
Exactly, because people have a shorter attention span in general, and particularly online, and you've got to capture them right in that particular moment.
Do we make mistakes if we try to make the landing page too sexy and too rich and too distracting?
My view is that the simpler the better, and you only need to look at Google and Google's success.
Yeah.
Their landing page is the simplest of them all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a search engine, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then the next challenge that a lot of people speak to me about is, well, now that I've worked out what I want to do, how do I actually go out there and get it done?
Yeah.
And so there are different options in relation to people developing their websites. They can hire a local developer, and there's a whole host of local developers. But a big trend that's now starting to emerge is offshoring. And so that is where a local organisation, they'll basically write a brief of what they want, and then they'll basically post it online on a site such as guru.com or Elance. And they'll actually get people from all around the world bidding for their particular job.
Sounds like a great idea, but we're running out of time, mate. But how can you be sure you'll get a reliable end result when you're just putting it out to the world?
Good question. A lot of those websites now have rankings in regards to each of the developers. So it's a bit like eBay, where people who buy a product can then rate the actual person they're buying from.
Yeah.
And so the whole community will rate the actual developer. And so I'm finding that a lot more people are now starting to offshore and using those rating systems to help determine the type of company that they work with.
Great information, Dom. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you.
That's the show for this week. If you want more Grow Your Business, you can go to my website, switzer.com.au, where you can download the Grow Your Business magazine. And if you have any questions, send them to yourbusiness@skynews.com.au. I'll see you next week. And remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
For more information or to watch the program again, go to skynewsbusiness.com.au and select Grow Your Business from the Programs tab.